to Pikeville College, and behind Pikeville College is where Octavia Hatcher is buried. It's also where Cotton Top Mounts was hung. The Hatfield-McCoy feud. So the cemetery is behind the college. You can take the steps, you can take an elevator, or you can just drive and hope you get lucky and find a parking spot and hope that it's unlocked. So this is University of Pikeville.
Right. Come right out behind it. When it was out here, if I remember right. Down here's where Ellison's hanging spot is. If I remember right.
Yeah, there's the Lara Library. So it's behind that.
Yep, there it is. You got a steep turn down here, if I remember.
Yeah, weird road. Oh. You
There
can
she is.
see the statue from here. It's the tallest statue in this cemetery.
We'll loop around, or not.
That car just parked there? Is there anywhere parked over there?
Yeah, right there.
Ew. Says no
Where it
parking.
says no parking anytime.
Okay, we can't park there. Let's have to park right here if someone
That's
pulls
what
up.
we did last time. Just circle if somebody shows.
We'll see if it's unlocked. Ow. And it is. So this is Octavia Hatcher. Maiden name Smith. And she is legend here in Pikeville. And this is her son Jacob.
Sleeping on a pillow.
Jacob was named after Octavia's father, Jacob Smith. And that's actually where Octavia is buried. And then this is her husband, James Hatcher. Now every city has an urban legend, and Octavia Hatcher is Pikeville's urban legend. But she married James Hatcher, and they had their first and only child when she was 20. And shortly after, it died. This would be little Jacob here. Well, within a couple months, Octavia got bedbound, weak. She was only 20, and she passed away. Her husband, James, it was supposed to have been really hot. She was buried fairly quickly. But the urban legend is that afterwards, several people turned up, sick, and that they recovered. They went into like a sleeping sickness. So basically, James Hatcher thinking that maybe she was alive. He supposedly came up here, had her body exhumed, and it had bloody nails where she'd clawed the top of the coffin, and she was buried alive. So she's our Pike County buried alive story. So now I'll tell you some facts outside of the myth. She did die when she was 20, and she did die after giving birth to Jacob. And it's a very sad story either way, because she, you know, there's no good ending to this. And James Hatcher was brokenhearted. You know, he died, she died in, what, let's see, 1891. He died in 1939. He was still buried next to her. He loved her, and he gave her this huge monument. And if you notice, she's facing right there. She is facing this way, which is where James Hatcher actually had a hotel, and he wanted this so that she was facing where he was. And what's kind of interesting is he did have a coffin in his hotel that was on display that had an emergency latch on it, which made people say, you know, that maybe that's what started this whole rumor. But, you know, maybe he was just scared of being buried alive outside of the Octavia Hatcher. But he was a very successful businessman, and it's kind of a shame that he just got lost in the legend of his wife. He is also known for telling a lot of stories, and he did tell a lot of ghost stories, and a lot of them mimic the Octavia Hatcher stories. So somewhere between the, you know, the truth and the non-truth is the truth, if that makes any sense. But there's no proof of the Octavia Hatcher story. There is nothing in the newspaper of the body being exhumed or anything like that. But they say that on her anniversary, that you can look up here and you'll see her walking around looking for her child. People come from all over the United States just to do video on her. I looked up the death certificate of James Hatcher. I was trying to get one of her, but I found his, and it said he died of what looked like arthritis, which is unusual. The statue, there used to be a statue in her arm. If you notice, there's an arm missing. Apparently that got busted out of her statue and was laying on the ground, and so that's why they fenced this in, but sometimes it's open. Look at those mountains. Fog and smoke. I really like Pikeville. This looks like a haunted house. Yay! Happy Halloween! Happy Halloween! Right, one of the most famous haunted locations on this Halloweeny day.
Yeah, it's very Halloweeny, all right.
I think we need to get a hearse. Bright red hearse. Don't you think so?
What's that?
We need to get a hearse.